Hey guys, Kyle Morris here coming from the golf room in Dublin, Ohio. And what I wanted to do today, since the season's about to kick off, we're getting close to April and the weather's starting to break, what I wanted to do today was to talk to you guys about a really important fundamental, maybe the most important fundamental, and that is alignment. And to be honest, with the thousands of lessons that I'll teach, most people, when I tell them about this, it really blows their mind because they never really thought about their alignment in the way that I'm about to display. So what happens is when players set up to a golf ball, they realize that they're aligning at a flag, obviously. So when they take their posture, they set their club and then they look at the flag and they align their feet at the flag. The problem is because we play golf to the side of the golf ball, what happens is when we align our feet at the flag, that actually makes our club face aim out to the right. And it's called the principle of parallax. So what we're trying to do in golf is we're trying to align parallel or parallel left to the target. So our face, if we were to aim our right arm at the flag, this is for a right-handed player, if we aimed our right hand at the flag and then we aimed our left arm, which would be our feet line, what you'll see is our right arm is at the flag and our left arm is actually aimed like 30 yards left. So what that does is that actually creates parallel lines, so therefore we can swing it on plane. So the way that we would do that on the golf course is we'll set our club face and we'll aim our face at the flag, and then I'm going to actually look like 30 yards left, 20 yards left, and I'm going to aim like at the corner of the green, and I'm going to aim my feet at the corner of the green. And now that's going to create parallel lines. Because what happens is when I take the player outside, this is another thing that happens, is I will take the player and they'll be in their setup. So they'll be set up to the golf ball and I'll walk out in front of them and I'll say, hey John, tell me, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put this noodle right on top of you tell me where I need to put this noodle so that it's right on the target line. And what happens is 9 times out of 10, the player will have me set the noodle right here. Now obviously it's a little easier inside because we have the screen, but when we go outside, they'll have me set the noodle right here. So what happens with that is the reason they do that is because of the fact that their eye line is to the left of the golf ball. And to their eyes, they see that that would be the target line, but it's actually left. So what ends up happening, which is a common fault with amateurs, is they set up to the golf ball, they'll aim their feet at the flag, and then their brain is telling them that the flag is actually more left than what it is. So then they take their golf swing, and then that creates them to pull it over the top, and that creates like those poles or those pole hooks, or more common than not, those slices. So what ends up happening is I will go into them and I'll say, okay, we talked about that, we know that it's left. So then I'll say, hey, this is actually the target line. And then I'll put another noodle to create a zone pole, right? So I'll say, hey, we're going to put another noodle here. So now we're going to try to start the ball because we want to create a stock shot, one that works towards the flag but doesn't overcurve the line like a bowler. A bowler bowls a curve, and if they can hit the front of the pins or the right side of the pins, they can get a strike. If that ball crosses the pin, they can't get a strike. So what ends up happening is the player will then set up, will get their feet aimed parallel left, and then I'll say, hey, I want you to start it just inside that right noodle, which will be like a 5-yard, 4-yard draw. If that's what we're trying to get the player to do, is to hit a draw. Now if they want to do a cut, it would just be the opposite. But so then they'll set up, they'll aim their feet parallel left, and now they'll be like, oh my gosh, that right noodle looks like it's 70 yards right. So what ends up happening is that body reacts to that, and then that helps the player shallow their plane because they're used to going like this. So a lot of times during lessons, I can just change a person's golf swing by just changing the pattern of their eyes because their body will react to what their brain perceives. So the way you could do this out on the course is I would really challenge you, really try to set an alignment stick or something on the target line about 8 yards in front of you, and then take a step, like 1 step to the right, which for a 6-iron would be about a 4 or 5 yard draw. and you'll see that that zone that you're trying to hit it through looks so far right, and you'll see how it's going to change the perception and what you feel over the golf ball to start that ball through that zone. So take this to the course. I guarantee it'll really, really help. And when you do check your alignment, one other thing to mention, when you check your alignment, make sure that you always check it on your heels. Never check it on your toes. Because what happens is, like, that would be parallel. But let's say the player flares their toes and they check it on their toes. Well, now they would think they were aimed left, but that's not really the truth. The truth is the truth lies on where the heels are pointed. So always check that. So when I go to a course and go to a tournament, the first 3 things I do when I get to a course is I pick out 3 targets. One to the left, one straight, and one to the right. And I'll just get in my posture and check my eyes and check my alignment and lay the club on the heels and then see if the lines are parallel to each other. So therefore my eyes are calibrated that day for what proper alignment is. So take this to the golf course. We hope to see you here at the golf room. We're going to be outside during the summer at the golf club in Dublin. So you can always book a lesson at our website, www.thegolfroom.com, and hope this helps out.